Priorities.
We'll call this meeting to order of the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission. Today is Thursday, September 22nd. It is 7 p.m. Of course, you have in front of you the minutes from the previous meeting. If you'd like to review those. Is it 7:30 or 8? 7:30. All right.
Well, whatever.
7:15.
Yeah.
Now, what about Amy Walker?
She's not done.
She's out.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
She's running. What's that? Gary Terrell and Jamila.
Pardon?
Gary Terrell and Jamila?
Yes.
They are coming?
No.
They're not, neither one?
No,
Who are you talking about?
Gary Terrell and Jamila?
I didn't hear from them.
Okay.
They didn't answer, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're Jennifer there.
Okay.
At $1,200 a month, I think that is on down there at,
Yeah,
instead of 12,000,
12,000 sounds better.
it does, but.
She got it fixed.
I fixed it on
I
my.
don't think that's a mistake. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, comma's in the
I
wrong
didn't-
place.
Yeah, right.
Would be nice.
We'll take it.
Make a motion to set the minutes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor and a second to approve the minutes with the amendment of 1,200, not 12,000. Any further discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. Public comment, not here, there's anyone here from the public. The finance report.
As of today, general account has $40,799.39. Pool account, $2,096.33. Financial statement is attached.
Sal, if you could address, we talked about it last time during the finance report, the pool issues, and you want to explain how they were fixed.
Okay, what we did was get in touch with Lee from National Pools, and I said, could you please send me something showing how this is supposed to be set up? Or talk to her or whatever, so they sent me a picture.
Yep.
So we went over and we took the pipe loose, hooked it back up to the return, or the, what is that, Mary? The big line?
The return.
It is the return valve, brought it down to run along the line, back up into the chlorine filter holder, and then back out into the filter pit. So it's not using fresh water, it's just recirculating what's in the pool. So that bill should do it. Way down. And we ordered chlorine to get us through the winter, and I guess they're closed, because we're not doing more aerobics, so on the 27th was the last.
It's one, there's 2 calls.
I said, them ladies, it's too cold for them.
I know.
You know anybody else getting in there?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh,
Thank you, Sal.
You're welcome.
How are you?
Okay, any questions on the finance report? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Motion on the floor, second. First and second, any further conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. Committee reports, we should not have any other than mountain makers in the park. And, Sally, if you want to touch on that first, because I guess you talked about it.
Yeah, we just kind of got together so I could have more of an idea of what he was thinking was a layout of where everybody was going to be. It's going to start at the 4-H building and just kind of go along the curve. And the fair is going to do bingo under Shelter 1, right, Jennifer?
Right.
In Shelter 1 during our carnival. He's still looking for musicians, music. I don't know if anybody's found here or not. Nope. I got a hold of Adam Young and he was supposed to get a hold of Doug, but I don't know if they connected or figured anything out.
You want to get a hold of Jennifer?
I can.
See
I'll
if-
message her.
See if Billy could do it.
What time?
I don't know.
I'd do like a Friday evening.
Friday evening? Because we never discussed that. We just always looking for music.
You don't have to have constant music, I don't think.
Right.
Well, they're gonna close at 7, so
7 on Friday, yeah,
4 to 7?
maybe. Sounds fine to me.
I just do like an evening show. Like, what do you do at the fairs? 7 to 9, 6 to 8?
About 2 hours.
Yeah,
per-
just do something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
On Friday?
Because so many,
There's gonna be a.
what you mentioned earlier, all the news articles, places like that are just advertising the event basically for free. We're saving a lot of our
Yeah.
ad funding. We could consider regrouping into some entertainment.
That's all that.
I mean,
So, I think we.
like I said, the
If she can't on
Radio
Friday, ask her
stations are all doing it
if they
for
can
free.
do it on Saturday.
I work.
Yeah.
Around what time?
1 to 3 maybe?
What time are they closing on Saturday?
10 to.
Oh,
Can you just-
I got the thing right here. Sorry.
Up there? Okay.
Yeah, 10 to 6.
10 to 6 on Saturday. So.
47?
4 to 6 on Saturday or 5 to 7 on Friday.
well, we can task the
5 to 7 on Saturday?
we can task the
5 to
committee with
7
trying
on
to line all
Friday.
that
About
out.
7 on Friday.
So we can get to the football game.
And 4 to 6 on Saturday. And we can tweak those hours a little bit if we have to.
Okay.
Anyone else from the Mountain Makers Committee? Okay, managers report.
Okay, let's see. Mon Power came out on 8/19 and inspected all our meter boxes. And he said they do that every so often, and just as FYI, there's 7,500 wattage in just the red box. So I guess they come out just every little bit and check all the boxes and stuff. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
We got our second quarter contribution check from county commission. And with this one, the last installment of paying them back for the money that was sent to Richwood out of the hotel motel tax was finished. Water lines feeding chlorine pump have been rerouted and now is recycling the filter water. Internet has been put into the 4-H building. What they decided to do is they come across the field there at the back, bottom of the ball field, and laid the line, went up the pole across the road. So it's in and hooked up. Christmas lights in the park. I've already got people, organizations lining up to decorate all 6 cabins, the barn, Shelter 1, horse ring, one-room schoolhouse, Shelter 3, senior league ball field fence, the bleachers, in front of the ball field bathrooms have already been taken. I made a Christmas post the other day, I mentioned the lights, and people just started calling, and they're still calling. Last week we had a Dolly Fest. It went really well. I was writing this for the week before Dolly Fest. So I told you, been cleaning cabins and Melody for all their offices. Got to roll off dumpsters. The leaders come in Monday, and the participants started arriving, most of them Thursday. Now this year, they only had their party, I guess you call it, on Friday and Saturday, where before it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Thursday evening was just more of people getting settled and getting registered, and I think the vendors opened up that evening. It was a huge success. We had no problems, very minimal headaches. Only issue was a stall door in the women's bathroom at the barn needed the hinges replaced on it. We had a nice little mud hole at the back of that little field behind the baseball fields. It was just from all the rain. We put chips and straw in and tried to dry it up, and it was just too much. So we just taped them off, and then all just taped it off around our balls. There were a few burn spots, but that is because the fire pits that we have, they have little breathe holes, I guess you call them, in the bottoms of them, so hot coals are falling out. So I noticed one gentleman had put aluminum foil under his, which protected the ground, and there was nothing. So I'm gonna, as a suggestion, I'm gonna give them next year, anybody that rents one, you gotta have some aluminum foil under it, so we don't have any burn spots. Wasn't nothing they could stop, you know, wasn't their control.
Well, no, we didn't think of it either.
I didn't, never even thought of it. And again, this year, Judy Donaldson participated selling our ice and wood and renting fire pits. Total, we sold and rented $1,075, which was split with Judy in the park. Jennifer come up Friday and Saturday and helped with selling the wood and ice and fire pits. And the Fair Board set up their ATM machine at the 4-H building, and I believe they did very well.
Did very well, yeah.
Very well. As soon as we clean up from Valley Fest weekend, we start cleaning and preparing for Mountain Makers in the Park, which is September the 30th and October the 1st. At this moment, we've got 28 craft vendors signed up and 3 food vendors. One of the vendors is bringing I think 2 or 3 different trailers that Craig Lemons.
Yeah.
Next big things are Christmas lights in the park. Work will start on the lights as soon as Valley Fest and Craft Festival's over. We should be able to see the park from the moon with all the buildings already been taken, and then we get ours up.
Right. Well, let's see.
It's gonna be bright. Which, and I said I'll be sending out the paperwork. We have a little form that we have to fill out. They've got to put on there what their decorations are, and it has to be Christmas themed. It can't be nothing scary or evil or vulgar. I mean, like I told them, this is Jesus' birthday. That's our thing. Santa is coming on December the 3rd, which is a Saturday.
You want to get hold of David?
I haven't got hold of Damon yet, but I have confirmed Santa.
Okay.
And then I was contacted on 9/14 by Philip C., who's with Boone County 4-H. He wanted to know about our facilities, how our camps work, and how much they were. And the price I gave him, I said, this is not set in stone, because sometimes they raise. This is what the other camps are paying. And he said he'd probably be getting back in contact with me for next year.
Excellent.
And then,
Definitely pursue that.
absolutely, Amy sent in a side note, because she wasn't going to be here, and I put it with all your all's paperwork, of her notes for the 4-H. If you all want to read over those.
We're fine.
Okay. She just, I guess, has suggestions of things she'd like to have. That hood is still not working right, she said. And every time we go in, the ladies' bathroom light comes on immediately. I mean, I don't know why she's having trouble with it not coming
What
on.
comes on?
The lights in the women's bathroom. Because she says
Without
it can take up to
touching the
2
switch?
hours for them to kick on. And every time we go in there, check it, flip the light on, they come right on. So I don't know if maybe they're not getting the switch up far enough. I don't know what it could be.
We never had any problem down there, did we, Terry?
Every time we go in there to check it, it just comes right on. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Works every time I go there.
And then she wanted to know about the contractor coming back, and I did speak with him today, finally. He said he has been stretched real thin. His plan is to come in next week, move that water heater, and get the tin put on the shelter. And then a week after that, they're supposed to start on Craigslist.
Wonderful.
So hopefully, he said, I've not been avoiding you. He said, I've just been swamped. And I said,
Well,
that's a good
busy,
thing.
it's busy season.
That's
So,
I'm just glad he's following through now.
right, and he said, winter's coming, I'm trying to get all that lined up. I said, I get it, it's all right.
Well, maybe if the board can review this and some of you guys can review this.
Okay, good
This
deal.
doesn't seem like major stuff.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
We can look at that. Any questions on the manager's report? Unfinished business. I don't know.
I've got one.
Okay.
All the phase one stuff, has that been completed? Had, right?
Everything except for which we have it's just not put up, the windscreen on the tennis courts.
Okay, awesome.
And we do have it.
And that's actually one of my
Yes,
discussion
it's
points for new businesses, phase 2.
Okay,
But no, yes,
I thought so.
outside of, including even golf course renovations. Hole number 6 drainage has been done, this shed extension has been done.
Yes.
New business, Golly Fest, as we all well know, we do have community concerns. Many people have raised concerns to me concerning the condition of the fields to the benefit of Golly Fest. I've never seen one picture yet of any kind of evidence of paraphernalia. However, the individuals approaching me, who I, very well assume don't want to necessarily be named, are very credible folks. And, people with law enforcement related things are approaching me about this. I think it's evident that something happened. We just, 2 might become 200 real quick.
Why come they didn't take a picture of it?
Well, that's a good question.
You have to have a,
Well, or if they found it, why didn't they pick it up and bring it to Sally?
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Why didn't they do something by taking a picture or?
Right.
Well, I can see if they didn't want to touch it, but
They can still take a
they
picture.
can take a picture.
Well, I was told they was all picked up, so if they're willing to touch it, they should be willing to take a picture of it.
Exactly.
Not to argue with you, but I'm just telling you what I was
Who
told.
picked them
Yeah.
up?
You know,
No, I'm-
yeah,
yeah.
Who picked them up and took them down?
Coffee
What?
and guys.
Okay.
Where'd they go to?
I was just told thrown away, so it could be in our trash cans. They may have took them to a location.
So
Or they couldn't be there.
I was reading the park response to the things that were on Facebook after I heard about it today. I hadn't heard about it before that. But, so it looked like a fairly good plan. I mean, as far as,
That's what I thought, it's like an isolated incident, something happened. There, the measures went into place to address the issue and minimize the chances of anything like that happening again. They owned their side when we were on a call with them.
but I like the nobody plays the day after, give you a day to,
Well,
need at
see,
least 2
yeah, I think the,
Clean up.
not to defend Golly Fest in this instance, but to the benefit of the parks staff, who I know was here throughout the whole weekend, they were not given a fair amount of time to even address the park. I was getting stuff at 4 PM on Sunday,
And people hadn't even all left yet.
and Little League and Golly Fest hadn't even torn down their tents yet.
Yeah.
Our guy, first off, Golly Fest, we were on a conference call yesterday because a law enforcement individual approached me at the commission meeting that we needed to understand what was going on this end. So we came here, Sally and Gary came to the commission meeting, so I drug him here by, and we was on a phone call with Natalie, she's the manager of the event, and they understand very clearly, if anything like this happens on the park to begin with, and or is left on the park grounds, that's it. But I mean, we've heard rumors of needles for years. I've asked Crandall, I've asked Sally, there's never been any proof. This year, there's no proof.
Anytime we found needles.
Other than reputable people saying it happened.
Well,
But again,
from what people telling them,
could be.
Well, it could have been here before they ever got here. Nobody knows.
well,
how
but
long it was like that.
what makes me, you didn't take a picture and who picked it up and threw it away?
And where they throw it away at?
And
Well, right, because I mean, if there truly was a needle found, that's a liability to our
that's
staff.
exactly right.
Picking up the trash bags. Exactly, putting them in Gatorade bottles and stuff like that.
Yes.
The sheriff's department can put on training if these people need this training. Sheriff Nunley will gladly tell these people how to dispose of stuff like that they find.
If you contact law enforcement, that's exactly what they'll tell you, to put in a water bottle or a
Yeah.
Gatorade bottle.
I
just know that because of all the animals we have.
there
Oh,
was
yeah.
all these
Oh, yeah,
presents at the event,
Yes.
right?
The whole time. So.
Yeah, and something-
In uniform and.
Something I don't think the police understands, but to Mary's credit, bring it up, there are multiple uniformed and non-uniformed undercover police officers at the park 24/7.
And they were everywhere.
For the whole event.
Yeah.
24/7.
The 2 nights I was here, they were everywhere. They were all over this park. It wasn't like they just clustered in one area.
Yeah.
They were all over this park.
And everyone I've been to has been that way.
Well, so, I mean, you know, if you could catch someone doing it, that would be.
Right. Well,
Something
and
you do
I told them
something
on the
about.
conference call straight up, if, you know, if they're willing to double down on their police presence, that they pay for it, the city, the county does not pay for that. They contract law enforcement officers to come in. If they'll double down on that, that's a sign of good faith to us, that they're at least taking seriously what's happened this year.
How many people come to that?
I don't know how many come this time, but we've had up to 5,000 people here for that weekend.
I
And
mean,
it was up to 5,000, and it was pretty close to the way it used to be, in the amount of people, so. But I
Of
haven't got
course,
a number
I mean,
yet.
our main concern, of course, is the children.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't want to see anybody get stuck.
No,
out there all the
absolutely
time.
not. And, you know, they do bring in a great amount of money, but
well, I heard it was a
you
soccer
can't,
people.
the thing, I mean,
Yeah.
without some sort of
Yes.
Did
proof,
you?
how
No, I
can we
wasn't.
do anything?
Right.
I don't know how we can do
Did
it.
they tell you?
Yeah,
Who was it?
several different people.
I mean,
I was
did they
getting-
actually see
Well,
The
it?
only
things
picture that
that-
was sent to me was pictures of tire tracks.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only picture that was sent.
Right, so I got that as well.
But I heard from several different people of the things that they were finding,
Right.
not just needles,
It
but
wasn't needles, right? It wasn't needles, right?
But,
other things. Percolate.
Well,
Okay, so
yeah,
what
right.
are
They had to pick up that.
I mean, if they're taking
Which
pictures
were
of
being
the
given out by
tire track,
criminal
why aren't
dollars.
they taking pictures
That too,
of the other stuff?
Right.
I don't know. But I personally have been out here before after Golly Fest and had human feces on the field in years past.
Right.
I've seen it myself,
Hmm,
with other things that I've seen myself.
you have seen
Yes. I've never seen a needle myself, but I've heard other people with needles.
Yeah.
But as far as condoms, absolutely.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you find them all year long.
Well, and yeah, I mean,
You can be down there
Especially
for
your fair
your
they break in the fair office 3 times a month.
it. Well, you can find those on Walmart.
We had a
parking lot.
couch that we actually took to the dump because we called it
Nothing
the
else will
And
find
your
condom
condom
couch. You can find a needle on Walmart parking lot.
Well, I've found them up here before, but it wasn't around.
I've seen
all
it.
the-
Anyway, you get to
Tell
choose.
them what.
The pole barn, you can go in there any time of the year and find them in there. Same as human feces.
You want to find condoms?
There's something about that pole barn that
Go
just,
in our office up there.
but it's in there all the time. You can go in there about any time and find it.
We find them in our couches.
Have you already taken care of all that?
We addressed it on the phone. I mean, I told her, I said, I'm one of the board of 11. You know, I made no decisions, but I told her that's what I believe needs to take place, and she agreed to all
Will you
that.
repeat what?
They have to
You
double
told her
down on
the
their police
conditions.
presence. They understand they have to do a much more thorough, cleanup. You know, the security deposit probably will increase. They lost it this year. They have to double down on their police presence. We have to be given time for our own staff to be able to cruise the grounds. They walked the park 4 times this week and didn't find anything bigger than a piece of paper that big
The
around.
park has been walked
Yeah.
8 times.
Okay, 8 times.
So they clean up and then you all.
Then we need, then I want us to have time to double check it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so, I mean, I understand soccer
Maybe
loses
the
a
board
week.
needs to come up after.
I understand, you know,
Exactly.
that complaint, I really
Just have any
do.
more sets of eyes.
But that's $8,000 that goes right back into these facilities too.
Yeah.
And in phase 2, something I was wanting to talk about, and it's funny because the gentleman that approached me about these problems, I asked him a question before I let him talk, because I want to turn the whole field over and reseed it and smooth it out so it's a better place to play, and he starts telling me about all these problems. But I mean, you know, there's $8,000 that we can afford now to have somebody come back in and roll after we flip it and have a better field.
Yes. And it needs to be done too because of that wet spot. I mean, there is drainage under theirs. And
Right.
it may be collapsed or stopped up or something.
I'd say your drainage is just collapsed.
I
It
would-
just needs to be
I would
natural
say so
grade.
too. But to answer your question, what they do, well, I took Jennifer for a walk during Golly Fest and, you know, pointed out there's no trash on the grounds at all. But anyway, Sunday morning, all these people gather up their trash, and Golly Fest has a crew that cleans it too, and they gather up all the trash and set it, their bags by our barrels. My guys take a trailer around and pick it all up and take it to the dumpster.
Which is what the fair does. And then they,
Which is,
yeah.
yeah, the fair
Same
does the
process.
same thing. And Golly has, I don't know, I think they might have a little bit more trash than you.
Probably.
A little bit.
But yeah, it's a whole
But
collaboration to
during-
get it done.
During the activity, Crandall and Eric are going around with that four-wheeler picking up garbage about every hour, hour and a half. They're emptying garbage cans,
Cleaning back.
so it doesn't pile up around them. I mean,
None of the commodes stopped up, there was no bathroom problems and stuff. They're just awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's,
I thought everything went quite well. And it brings in quite a revenue, quite a bit of revenue for us that we need.
and just in Natalie's defense, she does run a tight ship, but what she says goes. No glasses allowed, I was with her, I guess it was Thursday.
It's Thursday night.
Thursday, before everything got started, we were around checking things, and one of her workers, well, I guess he was a worker, anyway, he was outside the gate, but he was running the back gate for people to come in, and he had a glass in his hand. He was telling her something, she said, "Is that glass?" I said, yeah. He said, "But I paid for my thing." You know, she said, "Are you a volunteer?" He said, "No, but I paid for my whole thing." She said, "Well, it doesn't matter if you're a volunteer, a member, or a paying customer, no glass on the park. If you keep the glass, you get off the park."
And she sat right there and waited till he does something with it.
She waited till, I mean, she's pretty strict, and most people don't, and she does a good job. I mean, there were no fights this year, there was no mud wrestling, because what we figured would happen in that field with all the water. I mean, there was nothing, nobody climbed poles because the bell was taken down. It was just I mean, they got a little loud, but the football field plays loud music, so.
Well, two complaints lodged against this park that I want to address, and I think we just need to table this, and if we want to talk about it further, do it next meeting, but, you know, that this park chooses money over children, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. The county commission, I'm gonna tell you something right now, we do good right now to put $60,000 in this park. Quite frankly, we're probably gonna be looking at budget cuts again as a county in the next 3 to 5 years, and this park is not exempt from that. You know, we can't just go running away from stuff. Now, if other organizations want to come up with $9,000 events, by all means, I'll get rid of Golly Fest tomorrow. Personally, I have issues with it myself. However, whenever you bring $9,000 in the youth's facilities and organized properly, this park was not prepared to do a transition back to soccer, but we weren't given enough time to do that. But outside of that, there is no choosing money over kids.
No.
The county commission's done $250,000 in this place to try to help the kids. This board has supported everything we've done for the kids. Second off, I'll put this park staff, Crandall, Sally, Mitchell. Mitchell's limping around on 1 foot right now. And Eric, I'll put them up against any cleaning crew in Nicholas County right now, and they'll beat all. And so had they been given time, this would have never been a problem. And next year we'll organize it that way. We'll compensate the sports that are affected. I think give them a discount, whatever. And I think everybody can work together. And if issues happen next year, we'll readdress it. Then we'll figure out how to replace that $9,000. I mean, that's my personal sentiment. Is there anything else from Golly Fest? That being said, the county commission yesterday did vote to take over Indian Rocks Ruin Park. I don't even know what to call it.
Except.
Thank you. So what that means is after the deed is prepared and signed, the Nicholas County Commission will be the new owners of that park in Craigsville. right after that motion, Commissioner Chapman made that motion. I made a motion to request that that park be placed under the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission. We take a total assessment of what our employees would need and or the number of employees we need to run both parks going forward year round. And then, you know, the commission can work that out to where that'll be compensated. And that also a seat be placed on the board for Indian Rocks as it is for Little League, 4-H, etc. Conveniently, Mr. Gerald has missed 3 meetings now, and he was a general public member. And so perhaps we can take that position and just turn it into the Indian Rocks position, and then the commission will appoint and we'll have a board member to represent that park. And then we've discussed it before, but if there could just be a motion agreeing or disagreeing for this Parks Commission to be over Indian Rocks Park.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion second on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion does carry, and I appreciate that. I think that's gonna be a good thing. I think it's gonna be limited maintenance, really. And I think that that's a good outreach in the Craigsville community, for that community. Phase 2 of the park renovations. What I am thinking, and that I wanna make sure we all discuss what all we think needs to be included. Sally, one more time. I asked Sally twice today. What's that cabin down beside the horse?
Pine Lodge.
Pine Lodge Cabin. I cannot remember. Pine Lodge Cabin needs to be remodeled. It's honestly in kind of a pitiful shape. I should have overlooked that in the last one, so I apologize for that, but I think it needs to be addressed. DNR, I mean, it's shot. It's shot. I think that the commission understands that, you know, it's an eyesore, it's a liability, you know, but we need the storage. And so that would be a joint, the DNR being torn down. I've asked a couple of contractors just to drive by and look at it and see if they could deconstruct and reconstruct. And where it's that old military building style, it's just rusted together so much that it's not worth it. And so it would actually be requesting a carport style building enclosed to replace it, located wherever we think it's best, maybe like something like back here to the main garage. And then that could house the beds for the cabins and the new tractor and so forth that we share. The schoolhouse, they were supposed to bring me a list 6 months ago from the Historical Landmark Commission on help on upgrading that facility. Sally and I toured it with the boys 3 weeks ago, and they've not done any updates and have not been in contact with me, so I'm gonna try and get them to perform on that, and we can look to update that facility, because there's a couple roof leaks that are starting to damage the flooring and the roof, or the ceiling. There's some siding issues, gable issues. Anyways, there's some other smaller things. The horse ring just looks pitiful, honestly. And they're starting to really have some equine groups around here, so something needs to be addressed with it, and maybe the board thinks about different ways we could approach that. And really, of the facilities we have now, I can't think of anything else, but that's why I want to ask, what do you all think?
On all that?
Yeah. And any additions?
Pine Lodge we talked about, before the turnover management would be nice to, you know, I think to turn it into like a bunkhouse, I really do. They're already there, you can rent them out, you've got showers, folks come in on and they do
The
fishing
what?
season. A bunkhouse,
Where at?
yes.
Turn Pine Lodge into a bunkhouse.
Turn Pine Lodge into a bunkhouse. Just take maybe the racks and have one rack and like maybe even like a little something at the end of it or something. Rent them out.
Well, what do you
For
do with
potential revenue.
it? Don't you rent it more than anything?
I do, I rent
Could you
it
do
out.
that with the cabins?
If they wasn't full of beds, yeah. What do you mean, turn it into a bunkhouse?
Well, make it.
They're already
make it work.
bunkhouses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like it already is.
Either or, right, I mean, it could be.
It already
Yeah,
is.
cause like during the winter, the only cabin that has heat is Motherly, and we just don't put the beds back up, and I put in tables and chairs.
Yeah.
And I rent that all winter,
The
usually.
Pine Lodge?
No,
Oh,
the
okay.
first cabin.
Okay.
The Pine Lodge is
So
rented,
you're talking about Motherly, the first
Yeah,
of these?
first cabin.
Okay, yeah.
but Pine Lodge is rented
for meetings.
The most,
Some people have
I think, out
parties.
here.
Okay.
I mean, it's, even in the shed that's in right now, they store it.
Yeah,
But what do
We definitely need some renovation.
What would you do with the bunk beds? I mean, who'd rent them or who?
Well, they were gonna do one in Richwood, at the depot, where you could rent it for like $30 a night or something like that. You literally got a rack. You got up, got your shower, got right back out and went fishing the next day or hunting the next day. Literally, you were renting rack space, only during those times.
Which, we could do that with the cabin.
Do that with
Heat in
cabins.
there.
Yeah, we got cabins to do that, can't we?
They just need heat for winter.
Well,
There's already gas in this building.
Yes.
Yes, for the,
just needs what the wall heaters.
Wall
Yeah.
heaters in there, pay for it.
And then Amy's asking for a spot for a sewing club. If you take the DNR building down, could you maybe, they could get that spot for their building?
well, they're just wanting to get a facility, like a place like this or something like that.
Yeah, they want to.
That building can't be reconstructed, unfortunately.
Now, he's saying, could they put their building?
She's wanting a prefabricated building that would be located somewhere around the pile lot so we could hook in the utilities there.
Yeah, it's on the bottom part of her little list.
Yeah, it's the long one.
Yeah. Come on.
They're gonna purchase a building and they're asking for a location on
They're
grant.
gonna buy a building for
Yeah,
that.
there's a grant available. There's like a $3,000 annual grant available if you'll have a quilt show at your function or something, I was just told too.
75,000?
3,000
3,000.
for like a quilt show.
I mean, yeah, I guess if she can come up with a grant, the park can consider allowing to, and where it would be then. I mean,
Cause if you're gonna relocate all that stuff up here, that's a nice little knoll structure or knoll area.
yeah,
Wouldn't have any, very little site prep.
I didn't know you could get you can get a grant, nothing, no offense to our friends in the sewing club, you can get a grant for a sewing club building, and the county is begging and scraping for a grant on Homeland Security radio systems to where whenever you call dispatch and dispatch calls a police officer, everybody can hear each other. But you can have a shed for, nothing against our friends in the sewing club.
And as far as the schools,
That's our federal government.
how hard would it be to contact the historical society and let them have oversight with the park actually having the onus of that building?
The school building, they do.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, it's ours.
They were supposed to come to us for funding requests and then they take care of it.
Shut it down, change the locks and be done with it. Cause they've got that internal bickering going on, you see it online, nobody's communicating.
I know it used to be.
Do we have an agreement on that building?
Yeah.
If we own it, we shouldn't have.
Maybe provide the board an email with a copy of that, and we can see our options, I mean, I don't know.
All it says is, you know, they agree to take care of it, keep the upkeep.
Is there an out?
I don't know.
Lack of performance, you lose your rights?
I don't
to
think
the
that's in
building?
there, but
Probably not.
It could be.
If you don't mind, dig that up and send that to the board, we can look at that.
Yeah. Just so it doesn't go damage or
Yeah,
beyond.
because
what we
it's-
want
Well,
to put
doesn't
back
that
into
fall
it.
under?
yeah, because have you been in it?
We built
Upkeep
it.
is
It's
what
really
it is.
neat.
I think it'd be neat to actually have that as a, redo it back like a school building and let the kids from the grade schools come in and do one, a day of schoolhouse and
That
go
would be
away.
cool.
Yeah.
They pretty much used to
Like
do this in
the-
tours, because I mean, everything's still there.
Is it still like that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's got the
It's-
desks and
It is a
everything.
school building, it's
That
cool
would
in
be
there.
Artifacts.
neat.
They used to open it
But
up
the roof's
every
leaking
Saturday
all
during
right
the
now.
summer.
Right.
They had
But the
to
roof's
everybody
letting
do
water
it.
leak on it
And
right
I think
now.
even though
It's
you
not
can
that.
tell, because it's usually dusted and shining and.
Yeah.
Well, they need to get it fixed.
And it's
The lower
it's so
grades, those
sad.
kids would love that stuff.
And to Jennifer's point, we do own the building.
Good.
I mean, it's kind of like, they built a pole barn, but the park owns it.
Yeah, we went through the effort and we try to maintain, like, the fair had new chips put in it this summer. We do try to help maintain it if we can, but it's not our building, even though we built it. It belongs to the park.
Maybe since we're getting into.
And the minute they set that schoolhouse on this,
Tighten that.
Yeah, that's ours.
it belongs to us. So, it's probably one of the last schoolhouses left in the county.
Speaking of,
We need to get it fixed.
Miss
Yep.
Yeah.
Walker needs to make sure that in her grant, that can happen, because if she puts it on our property, we own that prefab building.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to have an insurance.
She may not know
Yes, because the
that
county
either.
commission,
They may
I'm
wanna-
sure everything is.
They want to change their mind on that.
Or take their money and if the county was to buy a structure there and rent it out to them, and do it that way. That would be, instead of buying.
Right, I mean, we have a grants coordinator, I mean, we could have her possibly do that, yeah.
Couple
That'd be an
options.
option. Then that way it's clear that the county's gonna own it,
Right.
not the settlement. One thing to add would be the cabins, the 4-H cabins, bathrooms. They need upgraded a little bit. And I don't think half the hot water tanks work.
Yeah, you're right.
So the remodeling of Pine Lodge cabin, the DNR being taken down and replaced with a similar size structure at the board's decision of a location. The schoolhouse, I'll reach out one more time, then if they don't, then we'll at least get the roof to where it's dry. Look into different options on the horse ring being redone, and the bathrooms through the 4-H cabins and water heaters.
What about to purchase some plumbing of maybe one gas heater, like a 5-foot gas heater per cabin? Do you think they would do so?
Probably, because that one in the motor is not as big
Right.
either.
Wall heaters.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
that
five-
yeah,
has
it's
to
like
be huge. It's-
Purchase some and plumb them in? So you got the
I would say
option.
it's running a couple $100.
Probably $3 or $4 a piece.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Is that okay there?
Especially if you can, the return on your investment throughout the entire winter, if you can rent those out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you already rent one molding
Right,
because it's heated,
right.
why, it makes sense that the rest of them would possibly be rented if we had heat in there as well.
And,
Get the word out that we've got.
Oh, yeah, let's put the word out and put,
Right.
since Garrett's got his wallet open, do we have
Oh, yeah.
window units for those?
No, we do not.
Maybe a window unit for each as well?
Maybe.
Please.
Maybe that could be tabled for spring.
Yeah. That's some of that money you make off the heater we'll invest in here, right?
Right, some of this stuff has to pay for it out of the phone.
There you go.
Right. And we bought.
Now, remember, that ain't Garrett's fault, that's Garrett trading Lloyd's fault. You're only talking to 1/3 of that.
Oh no, it's personal account, buddy.
Is there anything else? And of course, we can always amend it going forward, but if we could, if we could just have a motion allowing, and if we wanted to form a committee, anybody that wants to do that with it, that's fine. Allowing me and anyone else that wants to, solicit quotes, bids, everything on those projects and take back to phase 2 of the commission. Because I think a lot of this is gonna be a good winter projects for contractors, so I think we'll get bids on it pretty good.
how much money you have? Well, you gonna have, I mean, will that work? How about the tennis court there?
Tennis courts. I guess
How
it
many
comes down
would-
to, are we gonna do pickleball or are we gonna do tennis?
Well, that's what I mean.
That's, yeah.
I still gonna do some more research on that pickleball. I mean, as far as I can tell.
I mean, we can add that to that and
Right.
then the board can think on that. And of course, we're much further along in our funding schedule as the commission on the ARP, so no, this might not even be approved.
Right.
But we can at least get together, take it before the commission and line by line, see what we can do. So is there a motion of permitting myself, Sally, and anyone else that wants to, on the board, pursue those bids on this?
Make a motion.
Okay.
I'll say,
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those against, the motion does carry. Anything else in new business? Hearing none, I'd like to request an executive session at 7:44 PM concerning the purchase of real estate. And only board members remain in the room, alongside Manager Stoker. So we have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. We are in executive session, it'll be just 1 second, I'll come get you on. Okay, there you go. It's 7:57, is there a motion to exit executive session? And for the record, no decisions were made during that time.
Motion.
Motion is on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
So, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. All those against, the motion does carry. Anything else we need to? Hearing none, president's comments, appreciate this board and what all we're doing. Don't forget, next Friday and next Saturday, August 31st and September 1st, will be the Mountain Makers in the Park.
September the
You
30th,
might have got your
October
dates wrong.
Thank you. Edit that. It'll be Friday, September 30th and Saturday, October 1st. For Mountain Makers in the Park, we do have over close to 30, if not, probably over 30 vendors
We'll be
coming.
over 30.
We have food, entertainment, bingo. We're getting it all lined out, so that if the community comes out to that event. And otherwise, board comments. Hearing none, let's stick to the Mountaineer game. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
So, all those in favor? We stand adjourned.